What's up, world? How y'all doing? We back, baby. New week, new opportunities. Monday morning motivation and inspiration. Shout out to everybody up going to work, going to school, getting them kids up for daycare. To my people that been at the job, and to my people that's already going to bed on the other side of the world, I love you all. Hope you had a super mega awesome weekend. Let me know 5 things that went good that you're grateful for. And this morning, I wanted to give a shout out to everybody that's becoming a better version of themselves. You know, celebrate the small wins. Life is very valuable, and in this moment of time, in this video, YouTube, podcast, anybody can turn on the camera and create content. I wanted to send a shout out to the people who are forward-minded. I was thinking, you know, everyone talks about relationships, money, status, being high value, but the one thing you never hear spoke about is health. Like, health just don't exist in the world. It just get a bunch of money. And I'm in my 30s, and I get the concept of, you know, high value, and you grow up and you get the money and then you get the girls. But what does it matter if you become 50, get all this money and fame, and then you die 5 years later? Like my daughter, she had said yesterday she wanted to go ice skating to her grandma, and her grandma was like, "Oh, baby, I don't know if I can do that no more." My brain was like, I don't want to say that to my grandchildren. I don't want to tell my grandchildren, "Hey, I can't go outside and play basketball with y'all. My back hurt, my ankles hurt." And maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just the way I view the world. But what does it matter if I can provide my grandchildren with a bunch of money but can't create one meaningful experience with them? What does it matter if I have all this money and all these cars, and that's the only reason I can attract these women? You know, I was listening to this interview by Tupac, and he had said, you know, like, that don't make you cool if you can get women after you got money. Because my best days was when I was young and getting it. Shout out Kurt Cobain. But to my people to understand health is important. And yeah, you can, while it's cool to create a business, and I know I speak a lot about, you know, following our goals, following our dreams. You know, a strong body contributes to having a strong mind. And on the path to my enlightenment, if I'm being serious, going to the gym is what really helped my brain. Well, partially, right? Because we all have trauma, and we all have things that we run away from. And with me being able to be a basketball player and having an abundance of women, I never had to face my own issues that I was dealing with on the inside internally. As I'm sure a lot of people can relate to. But I had to have knee surgery. I blew my knee out. And when I was stuck in that bed, after the hydros were off, of course, because, you know, you can't do nothing. But after the hydros were off, man, that's the first time I couldn't move. I couldn't get up and just go play basketball. I had to lay there and deal with my issues and my trauma. And January 3rd is when I start going to the gym on a cane. And as I, you know, push myself mentally to walk on the treadmill for 5 more minutes. And that's the thing about going to the gym, is you go day by day by day to get very minimal progress, and then you got to set back because you're swollen, so you got to ice. And that's why I say I understand when people have all issues of life, because it's all the same, whether it's, you know, a knee surgery or a broken heart. You have 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That's kind of how life just goes for all of us. So you got to prepare for that step back, so the fall ain't that hard, because it's always gonna come. Nobody has a perfect life. If you can show me somebody with a perfect life, let me know so I can watch them and copy their traits and what they habits. But as far as I know, everyone on earth has to overcome something, and we can share that to, you know, make the fall a little softer. With me overcoming knee surgery to, you know, get back to the top, and I'm not even at top physical health where I would want to be, but it helped my brain clear out. I used to go to the gym and listen to YNW Melly and Nipsey Hussle, and now when I lift weights, I'm listening to gospel music, I'm listening to audiobooks. Just, I've really expanded the way I think. And I know it's a lot of individuals that have that ability as well. Like I was talking to someone today, well, yesterday actually, and I was saying why I don't really speak on black culture too much. And I said a lot of it's fake. Like, I grew up in the middle of the hood, and a lot of people, they don't copy the stereotypes that you see on TV, that you see in rappers. My family isn't ratchet like that. My sisters, though they both are single mothers with multiple kids, they just not as, they a little ghetto. Shay and Quana, they know they ghetto, but they just not what you see on TV. And I don't really have the energy to sit around and talk about modern women this and modern men that. I don't really care. I'm disconnected from that world. God blessed me with a wife who really loved me and some children, an abundance of children, and I feel that every single one of us has the ability to live the life that we want, that God has for us, when we can get away from this worldly life. Because the world wants you arguing about these issues. It wants you angry. It wants you upset. And once you can grab the concept that that's someone else's program, that's someone else's video game, then you can discard it and insert your own program. About 6 years ago is when I slowly started deciding I didn't want to live by what the world presented for a black man. And I think it's so unique because when I started YouTube on real life, I didn't know that I'd be touching people in Australia and Germany and the UK. Because we taught to think so small-minded about being black that we think we just are not hated by the world, but I gotta walk around in a state of fear because I'm a black man and everybody wanna hold me down and hold me back. And that's all so you don't ever embrace who you are and what you could become. And if you would have caught me in my ignorance to say I'm gonna turn on a camera and I wanna cuss, I wanna speak about murdering people and disrespecting women, that's like an infantile brain state. And I'm just luckily enough that I don't wanna present ignorance. And because I can look at the stereotype painted to the world of black America, I know the stereotypes of white America aren't true. I know the stereotypes of Asian Americans, of the LGBT Americans, of the trans Americans. I know a lot of these stereotypes that push aren't true because the news wants to make shit a lot weirder than it is. One thing I like to ask questions, and a lot of the questions that you ask in today's society are offensive. I really don't care. But about this trans kid stuff, I have a lot of children. I've worked at a school for the last 6 years. None of the kids ever remotely even brought up being trans. Like, it wasn't a topic 5 years ago. Unless I'm wrong, unless somebody can enlighten me that's a part of the trans community or knows what's going on. Where did this come from kids? I mean, I worked with kids that was in Montessori, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade, seventh grade, eighth grade. The high school was all girls. I've been around a lot of children in the last 5-10 years. I'm a basketball coach. I train kids independently. When at the high school, I was the head of the social awareness club. These concepts are extremely new, and so I just want somebody to let me know where are they coming from. And isn't it our job to protect the youth of the world? The same way we don't want the kids in the inner cities to feel like they got to grow up and be rappers, ball players, drug dealers, or strippers. I don't need the kids in the suburban areas question their sexuality and their gender. Can we let kids be kids on this beautiful Monday morning? And that's why I say we need a lot of men to speak up. Because I'm the first to say, man, I'm a good friend, but I'm not a friendly person. I don't go along with a lot of the bull stuff of the world. I may not speak about it. And I really encourage you guys, man, be a good man, not a nice guy. Because as a man, there's a lot of things that we know aren't right. And it's our job to address them. As my grandfather always said, eat the meat and spit out the bones. And that build character. And character is something that you can't take to the bank. Character is something, it's in you, it ain't on you. It don't matter about the clothes you wear, the shoes, how much money you got, where you come from. You know your character is solid. And I really support grown individuals, 18 and above, doing whatever they want to do. It ain't my job to tell you who you can talk to, who you can lay with, who you should be with last night. But I think we all know that we are here to protect children. Every single one of us, we know that in our heart. And like I look at life from the perspective of my inner child, because I still remember being a kid. And that's why parenting my children is such a unique experience, because I remember what was left out from my childhood, as I'm sure a lot of people do. And it's somebody sitting down asking you questions. How do you feel? What do you think about this? What are your thoughts? And from my childhood experience, most of the weird things that were brought into my life were by adults that weren't really happy with themselves, adults that wanted validation, so they pushed it on children. And I'm saying that as a young boy who, my mother's friends found me attractive. They used to flirt with me. I was 13 with grown women sleeping with me. Like, I'm speaking from that experiences. When you think of children being abused, you only think of this new age trans stuff, or you think of older men looking after younger women. The world totally neglects how many older women prey on young boys. And trust me, my whole upbringing was, I was confused on how to view the world, because I was confused on how to view older women because of what I had experienced with older women. So that's why I asked these questions out of curiosity, because I remember knowing I'm 13 and knowing she's 26, but this is happening, this is transpiring, what's going on. And because we never hear from the kids that have been abused or have been in these situations, and once again, the world is gonna paint whatever narrative they want to. As a black boy, I ain't supposed to talk like this. Especially from the projects. Especially who've been around murderers and shooters. They will want you. And because one thing I tell my children, and it's so beautiful, I know the way I look don't match the way I talk. There's so many people who look at me and they have an impression until they hear me speak, and they're like, hold on, but that's the dopest part about life, is nobody should be able to box you in. Everybody watching this video, you should be a Swiss Army knife and be dope at a multitude of things. Because the world wants to box you in, you're easier to control that way. And that's what we gotta share to the youth, but we gotta listen to them and see what's going on in their world, how they viewing things from their perspective. Because from working at a school, I don't think kids are on board with a lot of things the way it seems. But they don't have a lot of, parents or men to really confide in. My 8-year-old, my June bug, he hides behind me like I'm his shield of armor, man. I make him feel so tough and so confident, and I let him know, man, one day there won't be a daddy that stand in front of you. You're gonna have to get out and you're gonna have to fight this war on your own, because life is a battle, it is a war, whether we like it or not. And I believe in God. I can't tell you who to believe in, but I purposely say that I'm here to fight the good fight, and when God says job well done, and that's when he'll call me on. And I do have another question to ask for my atheists on this Monday morning. What do you tell your children if you have children? Like, what do you tell your children about hope, about believing, about faith, about adversity? And I hope that doesn't sound ignorant, but I know that I look at life from the perspective, and I teach my children that everything you go through is for a purpose, and it may not make sense now, but that's why the Bible says, do not lean into your own understanding. Because what God has for us is bigger and better than what we could ever imagine. So though it may hurt in the moment while we, in the process of building the brick road, once we get to the completion of the brick road, we'll say, thank you, God, for the wisdom and the courage and the strength that I've developed along this journey. But to atheists, what do you say to your children? Like, I have 2 dead children, so I don't know how I would look at life. Should my perspective be that was just supposed to happen? My mother overdosed on opioids. Like, to the non-believers, and this is solely, I hope it don't come off as offensive. And anybody who has a different religion or a different belief, they can let me know how they would handle these situations, or how they would translate them to their children as well. Because I think that's the problem in the world, is we don't know each other. We all on the same social media websites. We all watch the same TV shows. We go to the same restaurants. We co-workers at jobs. We really don't know anything about each other. And so I'm just being the person who asks questions. Geniuses ask questions. And if you got some questions for me about, being black, or growing up in a home with domestic violence, or, having kids with 3 different women, or what it's like to have dead children, it's cool. We gotta we got to talk, and that's how we can understand somebody else's experiences. But if I just assume I know you because a white check, male check, know everything about him, toxic, part of the patriarchy. Like, I can't do that. I can't look at you and say gay, must have. I don't know, and I don't want to keep living in that video game of labeling people. And I hope I can get more of the world. I ain't trying to control nobody, but I just let's conversate, let's communicate. Let's get rid of cancel culture. Let's stop talking to people because we got a different opinion or a different thought process. Help me understand why you think that way. And I'm gonna help you understand why I think this way. I'm not trying to change your mind, but I'm trying to get to know. And I think a lot of people, they don't want to have conversations because they don't really believe what they're saying. They're not really solid in it. And maybe it's just me, but I'm so comfortable talking to anyone about anything is because I really believe what I'm saying. And I don't need anyone else to believe me or validate me or stand by my side. Like, I'm okay standing over here on my own. And it's 150 of y'all over there and we just talking. I don't need nobody to walk over here next to me. That's my heart. Like, I'm 5'10", but on God, I feel like I'm about 6'9". Not Tekashi 6'9", but 6'9", and I'm dunking through the legs. Easy. And I'm hitting the step backs, KD style. But I just really believe in the way I feel in my thoughts that somebody's been manipulated or lied to, and we all got the power to control our mind. Like, that's the one thing individually that we all control. But I know I can't see out of your eyes, so I don't know what the color blue looks like to you if it looks like that way to me, you know? And I'm comfortable enough to, no man is your friend, no man is your enemy, every man is your teacher. And I'm ready to learn. And if you out there ready to learn as well, then you would take off the biases and the ego that's given to you by the world and really walk around in spirit, in faith, and love, because we all connected. We all are humans. We come out of our mom, no matter what language you speak. We cry. We all start crawling. We all start walking. We all laugh. We all play with other children. And then we get older and we start judging each other. And I'm just living from my inner child. And I'm not ignorant that there's danger in the world, or there's violence, or there's threat, or there's people who just won't like you. But I also know I come from an environment where I can't worry about every other threat. If they're not right here, what you gonna do? Like, that's what you gotta understand is a superpower about growing up in an urban environment, is when you're a child, your anxiety is super heightened. I mean, outside of your parents having domestic violence, so you gotta always check the mood to see, is it okay to talk to daddy? Or what's going on with mama right now? And you know, you really got to have a heightened sense of what's going on. You walk outside and it's the summer and somebody got a big old first down coat on, you know it's not because they're cold. So with the world, that gives me a different viewpoint of the world, because the threats, they're still here, but they're not the same. It ain't people about to just walk down on you with a chop. It's different type of mental and emotional manipulation that you have to be aware of. And that's why they say the streets is just like the corporate side, because it is. It's just a different type of emotion, a different type of fear, but it's still fear used to get what I want out of you. And to the masses, we're kept in fear, not only to be divided against each other, but to look to the government as our savior to fix the issues amongst each other. And I'm saying, why can't we just communicate? Now, they always talk about having this table. That social media is the table. Whatever questions you got, just ask them. If you want to know something about a different culture, a different person, let's talk, let's communicate. This is the back door to all the BS that's going on in the world, the propaganda. I'm extremely grateful for the wisdom that I've been able to gain from people. I don't know if I'll ever meet them in real life. Though it's a lot of y'all I will meet, and we're going to shake hands, and we're going to play basketball together, and we're going to have some dope conversations, and that's just life. This thing is beautiful. I'm extremely grateful for everybody who took interest in the art that I'm giving to the world, and just know the same energy, the same light that you see inside of me, it is inside of you as well. You know what you love to do. You know what's important to you. And I promise, you just got to stick with it. It may not happen today or tomorrow or next week or next month, because you never know when God is going to say, all right, let me drop this blessing in your lap. But that's why I say, stay in a state of thanksgiving. Stay grateful. No matter what your current situation is, like, you alive, it's air in your lungs. So whether you got a gang of money in the bank or you in the negative, whether all your bills are paid or all your bills are past due, expect good things. Expect good things, because God, you never know when He's going to bless you. So smile, laugh, be happy, and share this video with somebody who needs it. And be happy, be happy, be happy, be happy once again. Have a super mega awesome day. Never be too proud to pray. And one last time I'm going to say it, you got to smile, because blessings are on the way, baby. Bars. We out here. I love you all. Peace.